Sally. Sally is the mother of a daughter who was found guilty of 9 counts of perverting the course of justice for lying about being groomed by an Asian grooming gang and sentenced to 8 years in prison. Despite this, Sally believes there is evidence to suggest her daughter was a genuine victim of the gangs. Sally described a previously stable working family life until housing instability and family stress coincided with changes in her daughter's behavior. The house the family were buying fell through, but they had already moved out of their family home, and all their possessions were in storage. A family friend was able to rent them a part-renovated property on a short-term basis, but it was not ideal for a family with 4 children. It was only meant to be temporary, but the family ended up staying there for 10 months. Her daughter began making up stories, such as claiming her mother and stepdad were going away and leaving her to look after her 5-year-old brother at school. This resulted in school involvement in their family life. The stresses the household was under led to arguments that brought in both the police and social services. After leaving school at 16, Sally's daughter began working at a local pub. On one occasion, she was invited to a party. Sally received a call later that evening from one of her daughter's friends saying her daughter was lying on the pavement outside the property. If Sally couldn't pick her up, they were going to take her to the bus stop and leave her there, as she was making too much noise. When her mother found her lying on the ground, she was making a horrendous wailing sound and kept saying not to touch her. Her mother recognized that something was seriously wrong and took her to the hospital. Sally's daughter told the nurse carrying out the examination that she had been sexually assaulted. The hospital notes recorded that her genitalia were swollen and red. The hospital reported the incident to the police. Sally's daughter then received threats via Snapchat, became scared about the outcome of the case, and withdrew from the process. Around the same time, social services closed their case on the family. Sally believes her daughter did not want to invite more trouble into the household. It later emerged in court that they had all been smoking cannabis. Sally believes her daughter had participated and that something had happened to her, but she was found guilty of lying about being raped. Sally's daughter then began working as a kitchen assistant at a care home and a glass collector at a nightclub, in addition to her pub job. After turning 18, she was able to work behind the bar at the nightclub, where her behavior began to change. She would return home with cuts and bruises. On one occasion, she came back with a black eye and said there had been a fight in the nightclub and she had been hit accidentally. She appeared more tired and distressed than usual. Sally began to notice that her daughter's phone would ring regularly with Asian men's names appearing on the screen. When asked about them, her daughter tried to hide the calls. The bar manager stopped her daughter from working on the main floor because she was small and they struggled to keep track of her. They also ensured she was always paired with an older member of staff, as the Asian men would harass her if she was working alone. One Asian man gifted her a gold chain. Sally's daughter began saying she wanted to move away from home. She had regularly traveled to a nearby town by train. Sally would pick her up and drop her off at the station, and she never appeared to have been drinking or using drugs. One day, Sally returned home to find her daughter had left with her possessions and was ignoring her calls. She had told work colleagues that she had moved because her stepfather was harming her, but this was not true. After a few days of investigation, Sally managed to find where her daughter had moved to. When she arrived at the flat, she found her daughter with 2 police officers to whom she was reporting an allegation of rape. When her daughter handed in her phone as evidence, the police found hundreds of messages from Asian men. They believed she was being groomed. She was later found guilty of lying about the rape she had reported. Over the course of the following year, Sally reported her daughter missing 39 times. She would often turn up in various towns across the region, battered, bruised, intoxicated, or on drugs. She was usually without underwear and spent increasing amounts of time in hospital. One police force made a referral to the NRM, believing she was a victim of trafficking. Another police force repeatedly arrested her and seized her phone, which meant the referral agency could not contact her as her number kept changing. One incident involved Sally's daughter being locked in a room above an Indian restaurant with the man refusing to let her leave. The police ignored it, believing she was lying. Another incident involved an Asian man following her, trying to grab her and take her away. Thankfully, she was with her sister and friends who quickly put her in a taxi and sent her home. That same man was later arrested for breaking into a woman's house and sexually assaulting her while she slept. Nevertheless, the police still insisted Sally's daughter had been lying about the earlier incident. The police believed she had a mental health condition and was deliberately self-harming and putting herself in dangerous situations. They wanted to have her sectioned, but a doctor disagreed, noting that she still had capacity. Another incident involved a different Asian man who refused to leave Sally's daughter's flat. Police told him to leave but asked no questions. He left behind a balaclava, yet the police showed no interest despite him carrying it while visiting a young woman. After her flat door was kicked down in yet another incident while she was missing, she returned to her mother's home. Sally's daughter later explained that she had moved away to keep her family safe. She claimed she had been told that if she did not do as her abusers said, they would harm her brother, rape her sister, and firebomb the house. She had lied to her colleagues about her stepdad to avoid bringing repercussions on the family. She went missing again. The police stated they believed she was making the whole thing up and injuring herself, so they charged her with perverting the course of justice. Part of her bail conditions required her not to leave Sally's house. The following week, her daughter attempted suicide by overdose. She went missing one final time and was found in a field with injuries to her head and ear, a severed finger, and numerous cuts and bruises. Following this, she wrote a post on Facebook alleging she had been a victim of grooming gangs. The post went viral. Within half an hour, the police arrested her and she was sent to prison. Following her daughter's conviction, the family experienced sustained harassment and intimidation, particularly from one Muslim man. Sally reports repeated failures by the police to protect them. She believes her daughter was a vulnerable young woman who lied at times, but was nevertheless groomed.